able to shift the data from left to right or right to left, it is called the bidirectional register. Okay. So few definitions are there. One is what is called the shift register. So shift register is the data which is able to shift the stored data either in the left or right direction. Based on this one, right shift register, left shift register is there, and in the bidirectional register, it is able to shift the data both the directions, mean from left to right or right to left. And last one, a register is referred as a universal register. This is the universal register. So objective may come that what is called the universal register. If a register has all four modes of operation, that means CISO, SIPO, PIPO, PISO, and it has the bidirectional features also, then only it is called a bidirectional register. Got it? All four modes of data entry and data retrieve and the bidirectional feature, then only it is called the universal register. So these are the some IC numbers are there, because in one semester from the markout question came from this one that what is the, or give one example of the 4-bit universal register. So this is the IC 74178, 179, 194. These are the 4-bit register, shift register, sorry, the universal register, and 74198 is the 8-bit universal register. Now come to this one, how the data are shifted in the register. So here you see one data is there. So see, say the data is this one, 10011. So this is my data, and I want to shift the data serially. Okay. So here you see this is the preset enable input is there. This is the preset enable input. Okay. Now you need to you just need to understand what is called the preset enable input. So for that, if you go in this figure, okay, not this one. So here you see, this is one circuit. Okay, circuit looks complicated but easy to understand. Let me explain the circuit. Are you able to see and listen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So here you see, this is a 5-bit register. Why? Because 5 flip-flops are used, and here we use the JK flip-flop. But we connect one NOT gate between the J and K so that the no change state and the toggle state should not be occurred. And this is my serial input. So JK flip-flop has a 2-input flip-flop, but if you connect a NOT gate here like this one, then it's become a single input flip-flop. This is called the serial input. So whatever you are giving here, serial input, this data directly connected to the first J input, and it is inverted and connected to the first K input, and all the other flip-flops getting the input from the previous flip-flop output. That means this is the second flip-flop. So second flip-flop, you see the J is connected to the previous flip-flop Q and K is connected to the previous flip-flop Q bar. So that's why I said that all the other flip-flop except the first one getting the inputs from the previous flip-flop output. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. So step by step understand the circuit, then only you can understand this one, because if you see as a whole, the circuit looks complicated, but it's a very easy circuit. So first we need to take 5 flip-flops. First one, for the first one, this is the first flip-flop, JK flip-flop. Just connect the serial input to the J and it is inverted, connected to the K. All the other flip-flops get the input from the previous flip-flop output. Okay. Now come to this one. Just short circuit all the clear, which is written here R. So short circuit all the clears and just give it to 0, because in this particular example, we doesn't need to clear the circuit, but if you want, you can connect it to a toggle switch. So that means provisions are there. If you want to clear this thing, just give a 0 here. Then every flip-flop input is, or every flip-flop stored data will be cleared. And in the normal operation, the clear should be connected to 1. Because this is the active low, you see your bubble is there. So this is the active low. So if you want to clear all the data, then only you can give a 0. Otherwise, in the normal operation, the all short circuit clear should be connected to 1. Okay. Now come to the clock pulse. So here, every clock pulse is short circuited and it is connected to a manual clock pulse. You see, every clock input of the flip-flops are short circuited together and it is connected to a manual clock pulse. Okay. Now come to this one. This is the main important thing. So this is what type of gate? This is what gate? What gate is this one? What is the gate? Hello, XOR gate. তোমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছ তো? বিকজ আমি রেসপন্স অত কম পাচ্ছি, বুঝতে পারছি না আমি। Okay, so the name of the gate is, what is the gate? Somebody please tell me the name of the gate.
NAND gate.
NAND gate. Okay, so why confusion? This is a NAND gate. So this one is a NAND gate. And what is the property of the NAND gate which differs the NAND gate from the other gate? The property means, look, the property mean a particular gate means this property hold on this particular gate only. Okay.
Sir, the output is high when both the inputs are low.
Very good. So when both the inputs are low, then only the output is high. This is the only one property of the NOT gate which differs the NAND gate from the other gate. Okay. So you see the NAND gate output is connected to the preset. Okay, S is the preset input. So we connect 5 NAND gate, and this 5 NAND gate output is connected to the preset of the 5 flip-flops. And we short circuit one of the input like this one. We short circuit one of the input and it is connected to the preset enable input. So this one is called the preset enable input, which is short circuit, which is connected to one of the input of the every NAND gate. And the other input is connected to the data entry. Okay, now see how this thing is actually works. Here it is written that 0 is the normal mode and 1 is the data entry mode. Now, if we give a 0 here, then what happened? One of the input of the NAND gate getting 0, every NAND gate getting 0 as one of the input. So that means according to the property of the gate, the output is always high. Whatever be the other input, the output is always high if one of the input is getting a 0. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for normal operation, we should connect the preset enable input to 0. So if one of the input is 0 of a NAND gate, then the output is always 1, and this one is connected to the preset enable input of the every gate. So that means the flip-flop will according to the works according to the normal mode. Now, if one of the input is connected to the data entry mode like this one, 1, then what will happen? So if the preset enable input is connected to 1, then the one of the input of every NAND gate getting a 1. Now the output then depend upon the other input, because in a NAND gate, if one of the input is 1, then we can say the output, because it depends upon the other input also. If the other input is 1, then it is 0, and if the other input is 0, then it is 1. Okay, so come to this one, first gate. Here you see it is now connected to 1. This input is connected to 1, and the preset enable input is also connected to 1. So that means what is the output of this gate? What of the output of this one, first gate, first NAND gate? One, because both the inputs are connected. No, not 1. Both the inputs are connected to 1. So what is the output of this gate?
Then 0, sir.
0. So then this 0 is actually connected to the preset, and as you see it's a active low, so that means it will set the first JK flip-flop output. Okay, so in this way we can enter the data parallelly inside the flip-flop. Okay, so now let's see the operation of this one. So run the circuit. First you need to connect it to the normal mode and just clear these things. So everything is clear. Now you see, if you want to store the data serially, say the data are 10101. So first you need to say connect it to 1, serial input should be connected to 1. then give a just one clock pulse. So on the occurrence of the clock pulse, this one is actually stored inside this one and it is reflected as the output LED. So let's check. I give a clock pulse and you see this one is stored here. Okay. Now, if I want to store another 0, then we need to connect the serial input to 0 and give another clock pulse. So here you see on the occurrence of the second clock pulse, the first output is shifted to the second output and first one is stored by the whatever is connected to the serial input. So that means that's why it is called the serial input. Now again one, give a clock pulse. The one is filled up here, 0 shifted here, that initial one is shifted to the third bit. Again connected to the 0, shifted, 1 shifted. So that means you see 5 clock pulses are required to store the data serially inside this 5-bit register. Definitely, according to the number of flip-flop present inside the register, we require that amount of clock pulse to store the data serially. Okay. So this is called the serial input. And if you want to take the data from the register, then we connect your input device here in the serial output and give 5 clock pulse. So on the occurrence of the clock pulse, these data are actually shifted towards the right direction and it is gone out. So this is called the serial in, serial out. Now just tell you that how to parallelly insert the data here. So for parallel insert the data, whatever the data you want to store, you need to connect it here in this parallel input mode. So say the data are 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So this is the data. And if you just give the data entry or the preset enable to 1, instantly this will store inside the flip-flop. Let's check. You see. So when I just give the preset enable pulse as 1, means the data entry mode, then whatever be the data present at the parallel input, these data are stored inside the register. So in this way, we can parallelly store the data inside the register. So here you see all 4 modes are there. Serial in, serial out, parallel in, parallel out also. Got this one? And this one is possible only to take the help of the preset enable. Because through the preset, we can store some of the data inside the flip-flop. And this is a active low. So that means if the preset is 1, then only the data are shifted here. And if the presets are 0, then 0 will be stored inside this one. Got this one?
Yes, sir.
So this one is actually showing here. This one is showing here. Okay, how to enter the data. Now come to this one, few definitions are there. So the data stored inside the register can be retrieved, also referred as a reading. So the process for retrieving the data from the register is called the reading. So this is called the reading. So in 2 ways, one is serial out and is parallel out. Serial out means 1 by 1 the data are come out, and parallel out means all the data simultaneously come out from the register. So according to the application, according to the specification, some registers are there which provide the serial output and some registers are there which provide the serial parallel output. The data in serial form is obtained at Q0. Okay, Q0 means there is a flip-flop. So at the initial flip-flop, the data can be entered serially. So when clock pulses are applied, so definitely the data are stored inside the flip-flop 1 by 1 on the occurrence of the clock pulse. And for n-bit register, n number of flip-flops, n number of clock pulses are required to store the n-bit data. Okay. Now parallel in means there are 2 ways we can enter the data. This one is called the asynchronous loading, another is called the synchronous loading. So one is called the asynchronous loading. Okay, another is called the synchronous loading. Now you need to know what is the difference between these 2 things, or what is the meaning of this asynchronous loading or synchronous loading. Now what is called the loading? What is the meaning of loading? What is called the loading?
Sir, the data we want to input.
The data?
We want to input.
No, the loading means the
Sir,
process
just
of
enter
storing the
the
data.
data of giving the data.
No, the process of storing the data inside the register is called the loading. Okay, because there is some term, because as you see how to retrieve the data. So this retrieve the data from the register is called the reading, and writing the data inside the register is also called the loading. Okay. So one is writing the data, one is retrieve the data. So this one is called reading writing according to the name, and otherwise they are called the loading and this retrieving. Now data can be stored inside the, or data can be write inside the register in two ways. One is called the asynchronous writing or asynchronous loading. Another is called the synchronous loading or synchronous writing. What is the difference between these two things? Now, in case of asynchronous loading, we doesn't need the help of the clock pulse to write the data inside the register. This is the definition. We doesn't require to take the help of the clock pulse in case of asynchronous loading. And in case of synchronous loading, we need to take the help of the clock pulse to write the data inside the flip-flop. So here you see, when you want to write the data inside the flip-flop parallelly, then you see, you doesn't need to take the help of the clock pulse. So whatever be the data you want to write inside the register, we need to give it to the parallel input. This is my parallel input. So suppose I want to give 1 1 0 0 1. So this is my data. First you need to connect the data accordingly. Then just to give a preset enable to 1, and the data are written inside the register. So whatever be the data 11011 we want to store inside the register, we need to give it to the parallel input. This is my parallel input, and just give a preset enable input. On the occurrence of preset enable input as 1, the data are stored inside the register using the help of preset enable or the preset switch. And in this loading, we doesn't need to take the help of the clock pulse. No clock pulse are required for this particular loading. So that's why they are called asynchronous loading. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And come to this one.
Yes.
What is called the synchronous loading. So in case of synchronous loading, here you see, this is my synchronous loading circuit, which we discussed in the last day. So first we need to give whatever be the data you want to store inside the register. Suppose the data are same 1 1 0 1 1. So first we need to say connect the data in the parallel input switch. Then we need to give a clock pulse. So on the occurrence of the clock pulse, the data which you want to store already stored inside the register 11011, and it is reflected as the output. Output 1 means the 1 is actually stored inside the register. So here in this process of writing the data inside the register, we need to take the help of the clock pulse. On the occurrence of the clock pulse, then only the data are stored inside the register. So that's why they are called synchronous loading. So synchronous loading means the process of writing the data inside the register with the help of the clock pulse, and asynchronous loading means the process of writing the data inside the register without the help of the clock pulse. So these terms you need to remember. Okay. Now come to this one, the bidirectional register. So as I mentioned that a register which has the ability to shift the data either from right to left or from left to right is called the bidirectional register. So this is one of the bidirectional register, and here one switch is there which is called the mode control switch, and using this mode control switch we can control the shifting of the data. So it actually depends the data are shifted towards the right or towards the left. So let's check this one. Let's understand the circuit in this one. So bidirectional register is this. This is actually the bidirectional register. So first we need to understand how the circuit is drawn. Here we take the D flip-flop. All the clock pulses are short circuited together and it is connected to a manual clock pulse. All the preset and clear, because in this particular thing we doesn't need to take the help of the preset and clear. So all the preset and clears are short circuited together. all the flip-flop preset is short circuit together, clear is also short circuit together, and they are connected to a toggle switch, and this toggle switch must be connected to 1 during the normal operation. Okay, because as we doesn't require to preset and clear this circuit, that's why I not connected it to some separate switch. Both are short circuited together, and during the normal operation we need to connect it to 1. That's why they are connected to 1 permanently. This is the lower part of the circuit. The output, these are the output of the flip-flop Q0 to Q3. This is the Q0, and this flip-flop is called the Q3. Come to this one. This is actually the main circuit. This one is actually the main circuit. You need to understand this one. Here you see how these things are connected. So first, we connected to one of the switch, which is called the mode control switch. Okay, so this one is called the mode control switch, which is connected to one of the AND gate in every section, because you see 2 AND gates are there in every section. This is the one AND gate number 1, this is the AND gate number 2, and in every section there are 2 AND gates, and the output of the AND gate is summed together using a 2-input OR gate, and this output is connected to the D input. Here you see 2 AND gates are there. The outputs are connected. Output are summed together using this OR gate, and they are summed together. They are actually connected to the D input of the second flip-flop. Similarly, the third one and fourth one. So 4 sections are there, and in every section, the 2 AND gates are there. And this mode control is directly connected to one of the input of the AND gate. Here you see this one is connected to one of the input of this AND gate, and it is inverted and connected to the one of the input of the other AND gate. This one, and this one. Now let's see, for the first section, the one of the AND gate is connected to the right shift input, which is called the DR. That means direction right. So that means it is connected to the right shift input, and the output, here you see this output is actually connected to the next section, one of the AND gate. Similarly, this one, the output of the second flip-flop is connected to the next section output, one of the input of the AND gate, and similarly the last one is also connected to this one. And come to this one, the last flip-flop output is connected to the other input of the previous section AND gate. Similarly, this one also, this one, and this one also. Now let's check the operation of this particular circuit. Run the circuit. Initially there is no data because it's a manual clock pulse, so no clock pulse are given here. Now let's check the right shift input. So suppose I want to store 1010. So first I need to connect it to 1, and let's check this mode control. Mode control 0 means it will shift the data towards the right, 1 means toward the left. Now I want to store the data and want to shift the data towards the right direction. So that's why I need to connect it to 0. So mode control should be connected to 0. Right shift input is given to 1. So first I give the clock pulse as 1. So on the occurrence of the clock pulse, the data which you want to store already stored inside the first flip-flop. This is my first flip-flop. Now again I connect it to 0, give the clock pulse. On the occurrence of the clock pulse, the data are shifted towards the right, and initial means this one is filled by the 0. Come to this one, I give a 1 here, give the clock pulse. So 1 is stored here, and other data are shifted toward the right. Last one, I give a 0 here, give the clock pulse. So now you see all the data are stored inside the flip-flop according to our requirement. I want to take 1010. So, okay, sorry, this is actually the 0101. So these data are inside, stored inside the flip-flop from the left direction toward the right direction. Now, as I give the another clock pulse, then the data are shifted towards the right, and ultimately it is gone because the right input is connected to 0. Just check the left operation. Here I give a 1, and now the mode control should be connected to 0. On the occurrence of the clock pulse, you see this one, which the data which you want to store inside the register, stored inside the first flip-flop. Give the another clock pulse, both the data are shifted, then 0, So 0 is actually entered inside this one. Another one, this one is shifted here. So whatever be the data you want to store inside this register, you need to give it to the left shift input DL, and on the occurrence of the clock pulse, one by one the data enter inside the flip-flop from the MSB to LSB. First MSB will enter, then the next MSB, and at last the LSB. So data are shifted towards the left direction if you give the input here.
So can you please tell the mode control one?
Mode control is actually mode control is controlling the data, how the data are actually entered and how the data are shifted towards the left or right. Because you see, due to the presence of this one, either one of the AND gate is disabled. So based on this property, the switch is actually works. So here you see, if I give a 0 here, if I give a 0 and if I connect it to 1, okay, first we clear this one. No, 1 minute. I need to clear it first. 1 minute, please. So you see, now mode control is connected to 0. So if the mode control is connected to 0, and if I want to store the data towards the left direction, then I can't, because mode control 0 means it will shift the data towards the right. So we have to give it here. But here you see, I now connected to 1. This one is the left input is connected to 1. If I give the clock pulse, no data are entered inside the register, because now this input is disabled, this input is rather enabled. If I give a 1 here, then on the occurrence of the clock pulse, the data will enter inside the registers and data will be shifted towards the right direction, like this one. Now, to store the data, now if I want to give a 1, then only it will respond to that particular left shift input. Now you see, right input is connected to 0, left input is connected to 1. So that means if I give a clock pulse here, then this one is actually stored inside this one. Then again, next clock pulse, another one is stored here. If I give a 0 here, give the clock pulse, a 0 will be stored here. If I give a 1 here, give the clock pulse, another one will be stored here. So that means for the mode control is the switch which control that from where the data will enter inside the register, from the left shift input DR or from the right shift input DR. One is DL, another is DR. So from where the data will enter inside the register, that will be controlled by the mode control. And obviously it's a digital control. That means either a 1 or a 0 is there. So 1 means the data will be shifted towards the left direction and data should be entered toward through the DL, and 0 means data should be shifted towards the right direction and data should be entered through the DR. Okay. So this is called the bidirectional register. So this one is called the bidirectional register. Yeah, nothing else. This particular portion is the main important thing. This one, and here what you have done, we have done means here you see every section there are 2 number of AND gate. This is the first AND gate, this is second AND gate. All the AND gates are summed together using this OR gate and they are connected to D. Every section looks like this one. And this one of the mode control is directly connected to one of the gate and it is inverted and connected to the other gate, one of the input. This one is controlled by the left shift, and this is this particular input. It is actually connected to this. Okay, means it is actually connected to that. So in this way, sometimes the data will be shifted towards the left, sometimes the data will be shifted toward the right. And this is called the bidirectional register. Now, why we need to study this one? Why you need to study that one? You need to understand this also. Suppose I just write it get data. Okay, this is my original data. Okay. What is the meaning of this data in decimal?
30.
Very good. It is equal to 30 in decimal number. Now, if I shift the data towards the left 1 bit, then what will be the data? Okay, so first we tell me, if I shift the data towards the right, then what will be the data? This is for the right shift. 1 bit right shift. So if the data are shifted towards the right, then what will be the new data? Just shift it to the right.
One.
No, so first one should be filled up by 0 because total 5 bits, 5 positions are there. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So total 5 space are there. You have to fill it by you have to fill something in this 5 position. So first one, as the data are shifted towards the right, so that one first one should be filled up by 0. Then this one is actually shifted to the next position. This one shifted towards the next position. So in this way, the data are, and this 0 is actually gone. Okay, so now the original data, now the shifted data become 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. And what is the meaning of this one? What is the decimal equivalent of that one?
15.
15. Okay. Now come to this one for the left shift. Come to this for the left shift. Okay. So this is the original data. Now shift the original data in the left direction.
One, 0.
So 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. In the left position, we should not discard this one, because if we discard this one, then the meaning is lost. So all the data are shifted towards the left, and the initial position is filled up by another 0. Now somebody tell me what is the meaning of that one? What is the decimal equivalent of that one?
60.
60. Very good. So now you understand why the shift register is required, because shift register not only used in the moving display, which is used in the stations or any platform or any other display where the moving or the scrolling display will be there. So shift register, so obviously definitely it will be used there, but this is not only application of the shift register. Rather, inside the computer, the shift registers are used to divide the number by 2. So you see my original data, which was 30, and if I divide it by 2, then it will be 15. So that means for dividing the number by 2, we just require to shift the data 1 bit towards the right direction. And if we multiply the original data, then we require to shift the data 1 position towards the left. So this is the importance of the shift register. 1 bit shifting towards the left, it means it will be multiplied by 2, and 1 bit shifting towards the right means it will be divided by 2. So this is the application of the one of the main applications of the shift register apart from the scrolling display. Got it?
স্যার লেফট যে লেফট শিফটের ক্ষেত্রে একটা বেড়ে গেল কেন এখন?
Because for the left shift we should not discard this one. We should not discard this one because this is our MSB. This is our MSB. If we just delete that one, then the purpose will not be solved. When we multiply something, good question. 1 minute, please. Let me clear that one. Say. Or say 1 minute, please. Say 60. What is this? In binary, what is it?
Sir, 111100.
not আমি এটা 60 জিজ্ঞেস করছি this is actually the 60 in decimal number system this is actually the 60 so if you want to write 60 how many position it is occupied
Sir, 2.
2 position this is the first position which is called the 10 position and this is the 0 position okay now if we want to multiply the 60 by 2 then is it possible to put the result inside these 2 position
No, sir.
No, sir.
so 60 into 2 means 120 and if I multiply something then the obviously the result will be increased and now the 100 position or the next position will be occupied by 1 so if I discard the 1 then the result will be not there 20 so it's meaningless so in this place you have to write the next bit okay so that's why in case of this 1 1 1 1 0 that is equal to 30 so if you multiply it by 1 then this one is actually shifted here this one is actually shifted here and it is right here next this position is shifted here 1 1 1 1 0 0 then if you say sir we need to fill it by only 5 positions so the answer will be wrong because when you multiply something the result will occupy more number of places that is the fact but in case of division either it is filled up by 2 position or less because 60 is there so if I divide the 60 by 2 then you see the result will be 30 sorry the result will be 30 so that means it is now occupied only the 2 position 10 and 1 position it may happen that sometime we divide the say 18 this is occupied 2 position but if I divide it by 2 then it only occupied the 1 position so for the division it is not mandatory that you should keep all the bits but for the multiplication the result should increase so definitely we should incorporate the next position also.
Sir, in that case, we will use the sir left register, sir.
In this case, this is actually the left shift register. For multiplication, it should be the left shift register. For division, it should be the right shift register. But remember this thing, this is actually the multiplied by 2 only.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
And in that case, that's why here something is written here. You see,
মানে স্যার মাল্টিপ্লিকেশন আর ডিভিশন দুটোই কি 2 দিয়েই হতে লাগবে স্যার
because you see the radix point is 2 in case of this one in case of that decimal number system that's why it is important because it's not mandatory that all this time we should multiply it by 2 because any number can be there but this is a general procedure that in some time if we multiply it by 2 because so many things are there so many applications are there where either the data are become double or the data become half so in that case we doesn't need to connect any multiply circuit or the adder circuit for multiplying this time we just shift the data to do the procedure this is one shortcut procedure for multiplication provided some condition is that it should be multiplied or divided by 2 বোঝা গেছে this is one particular example
okay sir
or one particular condition so otherwise for doing the multiplication and division we use the shift register why not to use that one because this one is not valid for every condition this is one particular condition that if we want to multiply the data by means if we want to make the data double or half also required some of the application for double or half then we can shift the data to do these things then in that particular application we doesn't require any arithmetic circuit to do that thing only just shifting the data either the left one bit or the right one bit solve the purpose but it doesn't mean that for all the multiplication purpose we should shift the data this is one particular example okay and here you see this one is self you can easily understand this one if the number is odd then it causes an error of 0.5 what is the meaning of that one এটা বুঝে ক্লাস শেষ if the number is odd then it causes an error of 0.5 it means
মানে স্যার
বলে দিচ্ছি দাঁড়াও আমার পেন গেল কোথায় it means suppose I take one number, odd number. So say 15. 1, 1, say 13. 1 and 13. Okay, so this is equal to 13. 13 is an odd number. This is actually original 13. Now, if I want to half the data, then expected koto hobe? 6.5. Is it? But if I just shift the data, one bit towards the right position, then it's become 0, 1, 1, 0, because that one in that case will be gone, and this 110 is shifted from this position. So this is actually original data. Now, what is the meaning of that one? What is the equivalent of this one? Decimal equivalent of this one? 6. So that's why it's written that if the data is odd, then just shifting that just by shifting the data one bit towards the right position causes an error 0.5, because expected 6.5, actual result was 6.5, but we are getting 6 only. So 0.5 error will be there in this particular procedure. বোঝা গেছে? It's not happened if the number is even. Suppose 14. 14 means this is actually 14. So if I just shift the data one bit towards the right position, it's become 0, 1, 1, 1. So it is exactly the half. 7 is exactly the half of the 14. So for the even number in this procedure, no error will be there. This is errorless procedure. But if the number is odd, then it will cause the 0.5 error. Okay, so register gone. So my request is that please try to solve, because you know the new dates for the exam. Some teachers send you the new dates.
Yes, sir.
It will be not in the month of July, it will be in the August.
Yes.
Okay. So time is there. Question bank is also there with you. Just check the question. So many questions are there in that question bank. Up to the register, you can solve every question. And if you find out any question related to this chapter, and if you are not able to solve this one, just send me the question. I will definitely help you. But it might guarantee that if you study the things properly, if you attend the class regularly, then definitely you are able to solve any question from the first up to the register. The counter is not started yet. So up to the register, you can easily solve every question. Okay. So next day, we will start the counter. That is also very much important thing. And after this one, another 2 circuit is there, which is called the Moore and Mealy circuit. That is actually the techniques how the actual circuit is implemented in the digital logic. So we'll cover this one after that one, after we finish the counter.